All right, happy CJI Day, as in Craig Jones Invitational starts today. Obviously, we have big weekend, ADCC, UFC, everything. So I'm recording this today on a Friday and releasing it on a Friday for you. But no one's been uploading their strength conditioning for this tournament, which kind of sucks. But Ffion Davies has. This was about 13 days ago. So we're going to assume that this training session was done about 3 or 4 weeks out from competition. Again, nothing against fighters, coaches, anything like that. I'm just going to try and break it down for you guys to see maybe what's trying to be done, and just my opinions based on my experiences, etc. on this all this stuff. So I've just muted the sound because I kind of skimmed through it just to see what was going on, but it's mainly music, so I'll just turn that down. So just some self-massage stuff and I guess mobility to warm up. Nothing wrong with any of that. You can do that as you please. Actually feels quite good to do as part of a warm-up anyway. Even if there's really no evidence around foam rolling and improving tissue health, mobility, etc., it's still something that can feel good to do and just get you moving if you like to do that kind of stuff. So nothing wrong with that. I do like these band shoulder dislocates, and then obviously the diagonal ones. I actually prescribe these a lot in my programs too, just for general shoulder health. You can do them with a broomstick too, but obviously you have less wiggle room because it doesn't stretch. All right. So I think we go to the first exercise now, do we? Let me just skip forward so you guys aren't sitting around. So, still doing mobility stuff. It's a nice little warm up. Loaded as well, which is good. You don't want to just do unloaded things. You want to actually load the end ranges. So this is almost like a Jefferson curl squat to stand kind of combo. Good one to use. And then we're into a lateral lunge. I don't know if this is the first. I think this is still part of the warm up. Again, solid one to use. Lateral lunge / kind of like a Cossack squat, but more of a... So the difference, lateral lunge, see that foot stays flat on the floor, the trailing leg, which makes it a lateral movement, whereas a Cossack squat, typically you come up on your heel. Now you can get even more technical and say you step out to the side for lateral lunge, etc., but whatever, it doesn't matter. Solid way just to train and improve just general adductor groin health as well. So, all right, let's get through to the actual training. Okay. So, almost there, I think. Let me get there. All right, first exercise. 3 sets of 10 of the seated good morning. Okay, so this is 3-4 weeks out, and we're doing 3 sets of... I think she believed a lot of it is based around, I guess, mobility as well. Typically 3-4 weeks out, 3 sets of 10, especially on your first exercise, probably wouldn't be the way to go. Typically when you're getting this close to competition, you're looking at increasing the intensity and decreasing the volume. And using... I can see the seated good morning as maybe as an extended part of the warm-up, where you're just doing some moderate loaded work and getting, I guess, more of that mobility stimulus that you want. But as a main movement, probably not the best one to use, especially for 3 sets of 10. And you can't really intensify it because the last thing you want to do is start making an athlete do good mornings, for heavy sets of 3, because that can really fuck up your back pretty good. Same thing with hips thrust, 3 sets of 10. So again, ideally, in my opinion, you'd want something more like heavier sets of, say, 3 to 6, and that'll give you that strength stimulus you want and less volume. And then we have a landmine hack squat. I think this is also for 3 sets of 10. So we've gone from seated good morning to hip thrust to landmine hack squat to... I didn't even know this was called a Harrop curl. I just call this a Nordic hip version, this is actually a really nice exercise for hammy glute as well. But you've just done seated good mornings. So I don't know if that variation is worth doing in the program. You're kind of repeating similar things, right? So typically, especially within a sports performance program, it's different to a... 3 sets of 10 of everything. It's different to a maybe traditional or typical, I guess, bodybuilding style program where maybe you are doing multiple exercises targeting the same muscle groups. within a sports performance program, typically you're choosing one exercise and you're running with that. Just because you got to be cognizant of the volume you're doing, because you don't want that soreness. And two is just diminishing returns in terms of athletic performance you're trying to get out of something. So this is a good exercise. I like this one. This weighted butterfly one. Again, it's like a mobility exercise for the adductors and a strength exercise at the same time. I'll come back to the other stuff in a sec. And then we're into basically a reverse lunge. So now we're heading more of that. So I'm assuming this is probably 3 sets of 10 too. So one of the main issues, one thing you can spot within a program that is not a good program is if there's 3 sets of 10 of everything. That's typically like a red flag straight up. At this point in training, again, assuming it's 3 or 4 weeks out, the intensity probably should have been ramped up and the volume should be starting to come down. So it means exercise selection becomes more important in this part because you need to be able to choose exercises that you can load. So for example, if we come back to we've talked about hip thrust in good morning already. If we go into here, for example, landmark hack squat, you can't load this heavy enough for it to really give you a maximal strength stimulus. Remember, when we're performing exercises in the gym, we're not just performing exercises because, hey, this targets quads. We're trying to elicit some form of adaptation. And to do that, we need to hit it with some sort of overloading stimulus. And the landmark hack squat doesn't give you that overloading stimulus. You honestly can't load this heavy enough for it to really tap into type 2 muscle fibers, a bit more motor unit recruitment, faster motor unit recruitment, etc. So you need to be able to pick exercises that are going to let you do that. So for example, typically you might be doing some kind of squat maybe a little further out, and then as you get closer you might be doing more partial range movements, but they're still heavy and they're still moved quickly, and that way you're still getting that stimulus. Maybe you're doing more power-based movements. So for example, there's no real speed-based movements in this session. Now perhaps there's another day where that is. This is all lower body. I'm assuming if she's doing a second day it's probably all upper body, so it's more of an upper lower split. But if it was an upper lower split, potentially this should have been maybe complex base, so maybe a strength exercise like that hip thrust paired with some kind of jump. That way you can kind of tick both boxes in a relatively short period of time, instead of just all strength-based movements. Now again, kind of depends how she usually trains, how long she's been doing the program. For example, if she just hopped on a new program, maybe 8 weeks out with a new coach, then making those kind of changes isn't advisable. So maybe it's just, this is what similar to what she usually does, so the training stays kind of similar, so there's nothing new coming in. So if I was going to assume what another day of training would look like for her, it's probably an upper body day and probably very similar with these 3 sets of 10. But yeah, the exercise selection, this not a huge fan of, mainly because 1, you can't load them, 2, a lot of them just hit the same muscle groups, 3, you're just adding more volume for not much there without that intensity. But regardless, she's one of the best jiu-jitsu players in the world, so whatever she does here does not matter as long as it doesn't fatigue her to the point that she can't train well or can't compete well. So that's always something to bear in mind as well. So we'll see what happens this weekend. If I find any more of these, or you guys find any more of these, shoot them through to me and I'll break them down ASAP.